Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 30, narration of woes and other stories. But before that, let us do the Namasmaran, followed by chapter number 30, and we will conclude chapter number 30 with the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम श्री साईनाथाय नमः। 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 ओम साई राम। Chapter number 30, narration of woes and other stories. I bow down to Shri Ganesh. I bow down to Shri Saraswati. I bow down to the Guru. I bow down to the family deity. I bow down to Shri Sita Ramachandra. I bow down to Shri Satguru Sai Nath. Om, I bow down to Sai, the compassionate one who loves his devotees, the abode of mercy. Your darshan releases devotees from the fear of this world, removing their difficulties. Initially, you were without form and attributes, but on account of the devotion of devotees, you have been studded with attributes and incarnated as the crest jewel of saints. O Sainath, to give liberation to the devotees is always the mission of the saints, but you are the Guru of all saints. The mission is inevitable for you, therefore. Those that have taken refuge at your feet have all their sins destroyed. The good karmas emerge to the surface to clear the path and make it free of fear and difficulties. Remembering your feet, Brahmins come from well known tirthas and recite the Gayatri Mantra and read religious books. We who are weak and without any merits, what do we know of devotion? Though others may leave us, Sai won't forsake us. Those who receive His grace become inconceivably powerful. For those, they receive the treasure of self bliss and discrimination together with knowledge. Eagerness to hear the words from Sai's lips made the devotees delirious. Each word became stamped upon their minds, and they release the truth contained in them. Sainath fully knows the devotees' desires. He alone is capable of fulfilling them, which is why his devotees are grateful. O Sainatha, I invoke your help and place my head at your feet. Forgetting all my faults, free this servant of yours from all anxieties. If a devotee overcome by calamities, praise to Sainath, thus his mind will be calm and he alone is the giver of inner peace. This sigh, the ocean of mercy, favored me. The result of it is this auspicious book presented with respect to all readers. Otherwise, what qualification had I to undertake such an immense task? As he took all responsibility, I felt no burden with Sai Samartha, the light of knowledge, to illumine my words and to destroy the darkness of ignorance. Why should I have doubts? My faith in that Lord, the cloud of mercy, did not make me feel that I was at all laboring. By His grace, I was enabled to achieve my desired objective. This service to the saint in the form of this book was on account of my good deeds in the past births, which you have received well. O Lord, I am grateful to the faith for this and feel blessed. In the last chapter, you heard how Sai, the cloud of mercy, gave different kinds of dream visions to teach his devotees. In the present chapter, listen to an interesting story of a devotee of Shringiri goddess, which is enjoyable. It is also a miracle how gods and goddesses entrust their devotees into the hands of saints. Listen with rapt attention. There are many stories about Maharaj, each more wonderful than the other. This story is also worth listening. Pay attention and listen. It is not a story but a drink of pure nectar. You will be gratified by it. You will release the greatness of Sai as well as his all pervasiveness. Critics and logicians should not pursue this. This has no scope here for arguments. What is necessary is unlimited love. Not only should the person be learned, but he should also be devout, full of faith, a believer, or in attendance upon a saint. Otherwise, will take them to be fables. The wish fulfilling tree of Sai Leelas undoubtedly bears fruit and flowers. One who is fortunate devotee, he alone can reach out and pluck them. Listen then to this very purifying story, which is a giver of salvation to the seekers, the best among all, the means and beneficial to all. Such is the nectar, like drink of Sai stories, which easily helps in uplifting all creatures, including the ignorant. The worldly people will be satisfied, and it is a means for those desirous of attaining liberation. When I think of one, many more stories come to my mind. Therefore, Hemad humbly invites the listeners to hear them. Thus, narrating one story after the other will increase your enjoyment of the sweet Leelas. Those who are afflicted by these problems of the world will get relief. This is itself Sai's greatness. In the village of Vani of Nasik district, there lived a man called Kakaji Vaidya who was the pujari of the Devi temple there. The Devi was known as Sapta Shringiri. The pujari was in a disturbed state of mind due to insurmountable difficulties and was harassed by the worldly life. When the cycle of time takes a bad turn, the mind spins in turmoil like a top and the body runs helter skelter. There is no peace at all. In this manner, Kakaji was also very miserable. So he went to the temple and prayed fervently to the goddess to relieve him of all anxieties. He prayed wholeheartedly, whereby the Devi was moved by his feelings. The same night, he got a vision. Listeners should listen about this miraculous nature. The Devi, Mother Shringiri, appeared in Kakaji's dream and said, "You go to Baba, your mind will be in peace." He hoped that Devi would clarify who and where this Baba was. Kaka was in an eager state of when his eyes opened. The questions in his mind remained unanswered at the vision immediately ended. Kakaji tried to guess the identity of the Baba of whom she spoke. Kakaji decided that it must be Baba Triambakeshwar certainly. So he immediately left and took darshan, but his mind remained disturbed. Kakaji stayed in Triambakeshwar for 10 days, but till the end he remained downcast and depressed. The dejection did not leave him. His mind remained wavering. Day by day, his agitation increased. So, Kakaji started on his return journey. When he was there, he bathed early in the morning, chanted the Rudra hymns, did the Abhishekam, pouring fresh cold water unceasingly over the Pinda Shivalinga, but he was restless as before. Going again to the Devi temple, he said, "Why did you send me to Triambakeshwar? At least now give me peace of mind. Enough of this fruitless running around." In this manner, he implored the Devi and prayed to her. The Devi gave him darshan at night and told him in his dream The Baba I spoke of is Shirdi's Sai Samartha. I do not understand why you went to Trambakeshwar unnecessarily. Where is Shirdi and how do I go there? I do not know this Baba. Now, how can this trip be undertaken? I am at a loss as to how all this will happen, he thought. But he who devotedly attached to a saint's feet and who has the purpose of darshan in his mind, then the saint and ever God fulfills his desire. The saint and God are one. There is absolutely no difference between them. To believe perchance that they are two is duality. Saints are one with God. If anyone thinks that he will go and see a saint and fulfill his desire, it will be a mere boast. The saints' ways are incomprehensible. Unless the saints will it, who can go and take their darshan? Even the leaf of a tree cannot move without their bidding. The most anxious a devotee is for the darshan, the more devout and faithful he is, the greater is the experience of heavenly bliss attained by the best of devotees. While Kakaji worried about how he would go for Sai's darshan, a guest arrived from Shirdi searching for his whereabouts. And was the guest some ordinary person? He was liked by Baba better than the others. None was comparable to him in Baba's love, and he was fortunate enough to deserve it. He was called Madhav Rao and held the hereditary office of Deshpande. Baba spoiled him, and nobody could get around Baba as he could. They always indulged in loving disputes and addressed each other in familiar terms. Baba loved him exceptionally, like his own son. He came at that time to Vani. Once, when he was a child and fell ill, his mother prayed to the Devi and said, I leave this child to your mercy to save or kill. But should he recover, I will bring him for your darshan. The child recovered after the Devi had been invoked, whether it be a doctor or a deity. After the problem is over, they are forgotten. In adversity, no one remembers and to make an invocation and a vow which when remain unfulfilled becomes a reason for fear. Several years passed and the vow was completely forgotten. The mother recalled in her last moments and requested Madhavrao. This vow was taken a long time ago. It had not been fulfilled till this time. It is not good enough to have such a long delay. Go for the Devi's darshan. Also, when the mother had a ringworm on her breast and had unbearable pain, she had taken another vow to Devi. Mother, I will come rolling in prostration to you. If you relieve me from this misery, I shall offer you a replica of two silver breasts. That vow remained unfulfilled too, being postponed from time to time. She remembered both of them at the approach of her death. She recalled to Babya about this matter and took a promise from him that he would fulfill them. The mother had become desireless, merged eternally at the Lord's feet. Later on, Madhavrao kept on procrastinating and years rolled by. He forgot all about it and also the vows remained unfulfilled. In this manner, after 30 years, see what happened in Shirdi. An astrologer came there while traveling. He had a deep understanding of astrology and was able to read the past, the future, and the present. He satisfied the curiosity of many and was highly praised and continued to stay there for a while. He pleased Srimat Keshavrajji Bhuti and others with his predictions and gratified everyone in no time. When Babaji, the younger brother of Madhavrao, asked about his future, the astrologer told him that the goddess was displeased with him. He said, Your mother had taken vows which she had asked your elder brother to fulfill at the time of her death. Not having fulfilled them till now, the goddess is greatly troubling you. Papaji told everything to Madhavrao when he came home. Madhavrao realized his mistake. He called a goldsmith and had a replica made of two silver breasts and took them to the masjid. After prostrating at the feet of Baba, he placed the breast before him and said to him, "Please accept these and free me from that woe. You are our Sapta Shringi. You are our goddess. Please accept this as promised and be satisfied." Baba replied, "Go to the temple of Sapta Shringi and offer to her what was promised to her by your own hands, placing these ornamental breasts at her feet." When Baba insisted thus, Madhavrao also felt the same way. He left the house determined to take the darshan. He took Baba's darshan and requested his blessings. Taking Udi and Prasad, he took permission and left. He came to the temple of Saptashringi and began to search for the family priest. Luckily, he was taken into Kakaji's house and met him without any efforts. Kakaji was desiring to meet Baba as soon as possible and was just then he met Madhavrao. Was this an ordinary coincidence? When making preliminary inquiries and about the whereabouts of Madhavrao, when he learned that he had come from Shirdi, his joy knew no bounds and they embraced each other. They both were pleased at the turn of events and praised Sai's Leelas. After the ritual for the vows were completed, the priest left for Shirdi. The priest was filled with joy to have the companionship of a person like Madhavrao, which he got unexpectedly. He thought only of his trip to Shirdi. As soon as the vows were fulfilled, they both arrived quickly at Shirdi. No sooner than they arrived, they left for Sai's darshan with lots of love and eagerness. The intensity of emotion increases the pace of a traveler. Kakaji arrived at the banks of the Godavari, from where Shirdi was close by. The priest bowed at Baba's feet and washed them with his tears. Being filled with happiness at the darshan, he was at peace. This was the purpose of the vision of the goddess. When he saw Baba Samartha with his own eyes, Kakaji was truly happy and his wish was fulfilled. So be it. Kakaji was filled with joy after the darshan, his mind was at peace. He really became free of all worries as the cloud of mercy had rained. The fickleness of his mind disappeared. He was himself surprised. He wondered how strange this was. Baba had not said a word, nor had he asked any question leading to this satisfaction, nor had he given any blessings. This was a mere darshan. I have attained incredible happiness and perfect understanding. This is called the greatness of darshan. His eyes were riveted to Sai's feet, and he could not utter a word. Listening to Baba's stories, his happiness could not be contained. The priest surrendered to the Samartha with his full faith and attained his happiness. He forgot his earlier problems. Kakaji stayed for 12 days at Shirdi. His mind settled and then he returned to Saptashringi. The time when one sees a dream has relevance. It is believed that only dreams that can be seen at dawn or early morning come true. Others are ineffectual. This is well known, but the dreams regarding Shirdi, wherever they occur or at whatever time, they were fulfilled. This was the invariable experience of devotees. I will present a short story illustrating this statement to the listeners. They will find it a great marvel and will give them increased enjoyment in listening. One afternoon, Baba told Dikshit, "Take a tonga, go to Rahata, and bring Kushal Bhav along with you. Tell him that it has been a long time since I met him, so I have a desire to see him. Tell him that Baba is calling you to meet him." Respectfully obeying the orders, Dikshit took a tonga and went. Kushalbhau met him immediately, and Dikshit told him the purpose of his visit. Hearing Baba's message, Kushal Bhav was greatly surprised. He said, I have just woken up from a nap and in my sleep I got the same orders. Just now I had laid down to rest after lunch. No sooner than my eyes closed that Baba said the same thing to me in my sleep. He said, come to Shirdi right now. I also had a strong desire, but what could I do? There were no horses. I sent my son to inform Baba about it. The boy must have hardly gone beyond the village border. And now here is your Tonga. Dikshit jokingly said, this is why I was instructed to come. So, if you like to come, the Tonga is ready and waiting. Then he left for Shirdi and with Dikshit very happily. The result was that Kushal Bhau met Baba and Baba's wish was fulfilled. Kushal Bhau was also deeply moved by this Leela of Baba. Once Baba appeared in the dream of a Punjabi Brahmin whose name was Ramlal and who was a resident of Bombay. The sky, the wind, the sun, the rain, and other deities, due to the power of their grace, whatever knowledge one had of the outward and inward objects, that is known as the wake state. When all the senses are at rest, arises the awakening of the subliminal impressions of the waking condition. This takes the form of a cognition and the person who cognizes. This is the indication of the dream state. His dream was strange. He did not know Baba's form or attributes. He never had a darshan earlier. Come to me, he said. From his appearance, the person looked like a great saint. But who was he and from where? When Ramlal awoke, he was deep in thoughts. He felt like going, but he did not have an address or his whereabouts. But he who calls for darshan, he alone knows to make the arrangements. Then, the same afternoon, as he was casually walking along the road, he saw a picture in a shop which startled him. The form of that he saw in his dream was exactly the same as this. Felt Ramlal. He immediately made enquiries of the shopkeeper. He closely looked at the picture. Who is he and from where? He learnt that it was Sai from Shirdi. Ramlal was satisfied. Later on, he came to know the full details. Ramlal went to Shirdi and stayed near Baba till his Mahasamadhi. This was Baba's wish to fulfill desires of his devotees by bringing them for darshan and letting them to achieve their worldly or spiritual objectives. As it is, all his devotees were fulfilled. He himself was desireless, unselfish, without ego, and without any attachment. His avatar was only to fulfill the desires of the devotees. Knowing him to be a true saint, who was untouched by anger and has no place for hatred, nor does he have even a glance for the selfish, whose selfless love for all is his mission, and who does not waste even a word on matters other than righteousness. In conclusion, Baba had got his life story written by holding my hand so that devotees remain continuously engrossed in remembering him. This is its purpose. Therefore, Hemad very humbly requests all the listeners to hear the Sai Satcharithra with full faith and devotion. You will attain peace thereby, and it will help in getting rid of evil habits. Devotion at Sai's feet will be strengthened and it will give salvation. So be it. In the next chapter will be narrated the story of a sannyasi, Vijayananda, who instead of going to Manasarovar attained liberation at Sai's feet. Also, the devotee Mankar Balram got his eternal rest, and Nulkar and Megha's desires were fulfilled completely by Sainath. Even a creature as cruel as a tiger was also given a place at his feet. Such was the incredible deeds of Sai. Listening to them is like celebrating a great festival. May there be well being. This is the end of the 30th chapter of Shri Sai Samartha Satcharithra, written by the devotee Hemat Pant, impelled by saints and virtuous people, called Narration of Woes and Other Stories. This is offered to Shri Satguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Om Sai Ram. Let us now do the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. शिर्डी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रमावर. बाबा रमावर साई बाबा रमावर. शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्रभागा भाव पुंडली गंधागा. पुंडलिकन जागा भाव पुंडलिकन जागा. याओ याओ अवघे जना करा बाबा श्रीवंदन. साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन. कनु बने बाबा साई पाव पाव माझे आई. पाव माझे आई पाव पाव माझे आई. अनेलु तांगण वनेक चरण तुयाति पायन रूप तुझे. प्रेमीन रंगीन अनंत पूजिम भवेव मा इन बने नमा. तवेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बंधु सदा त्वमेव. त्वमेव विद्या दैरङ्गमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव. अयनुमाचापसनियर्म मुख्याकनावापतन समाव. करोमि अत्यंत सख्यन्तरस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि. अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरे. माधवं माधवं गोपिका विल्लवं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Om Sai Ram. I request all the listeners to read one chapter of the Sai Satcharithra every day and soak in Baba Bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.